Welcome to the very first Leagues 3 video on this channel. And first things first, we're going to start out with a disclaimer. I do not have any inside scoop or extra information that isn't available to everybody else about the new League's release date or what it's going to be. So if you're coming here for some tea, I do not have it. But in today's video, we're going to be discussing what we do know about Leagues 3, as well as we're going to go over some player-designed ideas and really just start a discussion on throwing some ideas around, because it's finally getting time to where we're actually probably going to be learning some new information and getting some concrete stuff behind what the next league will be. As you can tell right now, we have the mini roadmap that Jagex released a few weeks back, including all of the July and then everything classified as later. Currently this month, we're going to be getting the combat achievements, which is a pretty big update coming here in the next couple weeks, as well as we don't have an official date yet as of the day I'm recording this, but we will also be getting a summer reveal stream, which is really where they're planning to highlight everything in relation to this later tab in terms of some extra dates and then some more concrete info on their expected times and probably like the order on which these updates are going to come. But now with that out of the way, this video might actually drag out a little long, and there will be timestamps down in the description below. So feel free to hop around, and also while you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment in relation to any of the ideas I bring up today, or your thoughts for something you would want in the new league. But with our first Reddit suggestion, we have the Timehopper League. And the basic concept is the first two leagues were based on area restrictions, and this league would then be based on a timeline restriction. In honor of the 20th anniversary of RuneScape, we'd break the game down into contents by year of original release, advancing all the way from basically RuneScape Classic to modern day old school RuneScape. And just as a general idea, regardless of how this would work functionality wise, the concept and idea behind this I actually really love. Like the thought of only being able to access RuneScape Classic things as soon as you start your account, and as it begins to become stronger, you can access newer, higher tier items as well as some newer things released since the release of Old School. And basically the few concepts this creator had for how this league would work is that you could have it based on year. If you complete enough 2001 tasks, you would then advance to 2002 content, and then 2004, and so forth. But then the other concept would then be to break it down basically into three categories like it is right here, where you would have RuneScape Classic, RuneScape 2, and then Old School RuneScape. And basically you would complete enough tasks to then advance from Classic to RuneScape 2, and then between those two you would have to complete enough to then advance to Old School RuneScape era. If you scroll down, you can see some of the original release dates for a bunch of items within the current game. And honestly, just looking at this is absolutely mind-blowing to me to realize how far we've come and how much content has actually been added into the game. Now moving on to our second Reddit creation, we have Leagues 3, the God Wars League. And this one's more similar to Trailblazer in the fact that you would choose your own path, but instead of unlocking new areas, you would be earning renown in order to unlock perks from your chosen faction. And basically the way this one would work is you would choose a specific god, and then you would have a specific starting area, and then you would be able to easily reside and do content within your specific area. But then there was also a twist on this league, which I kind of thought was very interesting, and it was set up with threat levels. There was Allied, which was completely safe, and that is basically a region owned by your specific god. And then there were the neutral areas, one being safe, one with medium risk, and one with high risk, each with more punishing outcomes if you do happen to die. But basically the way they would work is if you were within these areas, you could attack and be attacked by members of the opposing faction. And depending on the risk, it would either be within a certain level bracket or any level bracket if you were in the maximum high risk area. Basically offering a little twist with a mashup of basically a new league / Deadman mode kind of put together. Now we're actually going to hop over to the league's Discord. And with that, those were really the best of the available options I found on Reddit for pretty in-depth, decent ideas. I actually will link all of this stuff in the description below if you do want to go ahead and read it for yourself. But moving on, we're actually going to be hopping into the league's Discord, which is still actually decently active, despite there being a big time frame between the future league and the previous one. There are still plenty of people chatting here on a pretty consistent basis, offering some insight on the past league, or even ideas on the future one, and that's some of the stuff we're going to touch on today. But regardless, there is still plenty of league talk and information within this Discord, so if you are a big leagues fan like myself, there is plenty of stuff in here for you to read. And for that, I will also drop a link to this Discord down in the description below if you do want to join it. But the first solid league idea I saw within this Discord was this one from SpookDog, but the idea was one that I've actually thought of myself as well, especially with the hype coming around Group Iron Man being released. We don't know whether it's going to be before the league or after, but maybe even to compound on top of the hype, you would have a Group Iron Man league, considering each of the last 2 leagues have been solo Iron Man. The idea she had was a group Iron Man, but each person is actually locked to a specific role, and on top of that, you would only be able to train certain skills or use a certain combat type. For example, using a Ranger, Major, or Meleeer, and then that would also unlock certain skilling skills that you would also have access to. I know some concerns people have had with this idea is the fact that they just don't have people to play RuneScape with. Therefore, it would further compound the fact that loners would then be left behind, or they'd be stuck trying to find other people to play with. And then on top of that, if those people who are in your group don't play the same amount of time or put in the same effort you do, you could be vastly dragged behind, considering you wouldn't be able to train other skills that you would need them to train for you. Actually, the comment I'm hovering over right now is that specific thing. While the Group Iron Man League sounds fun, it would exclude solo players. If you're a loner, you already have enough problems without missing out on leagues too. Yeah, that was kind of the thought process I've seen a lot of people had in relation to that idea. Well, here is also a little teaser for a potential relic in the next league, and that is Last Recall. I know I've seen both Flippy and Husky talk about Last Recall and potentially re-adding it to the new league, but with the nerfs or the original way they intended for the relic to actually work, and it was far less overpowered than what it happened to be in Trailblazer. Here's a thing I kind of touched on earlier and my expectation in terms of when we could be seeing Leagues 3. The previous league began October 28th and ended January 6th. Twisted started November 14th and ended January 16th. And this was kind of my expectation with the new Leagues 3 as well, for it to be starting right at the end of the year and finishing probably right at the beginning. Ultimately, we don't know how long it's going to last either. That's definitely something they've had a lot of conversations about, with the potential problem of maintaining the player base long enough. They don't want the league to drag out too long, because by the end of it, a lot of the player base would already have weaned off and quit. But they also don't want to make it too short that you leave people not having accomplished enough by the time that the league had already ended. And then there's also always the idea of the Swampletics League, basically the Mauritania Locked Iron Man League, and maybe even a Ultimate Iron Man League, because we haven't seen one of those either. And this was always one of the main discussions when leagues first came out, considering the hype and popularity of the Swampletics path, making a Mauritania Locked League. I'm sure it's still definitely in discussion and maybe even something we see in the future. But with that, we're actually going to end off this video here. Leave me comments down below on what you think about the ideas I've mentioned in this video today, or even what your concepts or ideas are for Leagues 3, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. But overall, I think Trailblazer set a very high bar for them to achieve with Leagues 3, so I'm definitely interested to see what they come up with. Hopefully it can reach most people's expectations and still offer a very unique and fun experience for everybody, because I know it's something that's been highly desired and very needed with the current state of the game. But with that, I appreciate you guys watching. If you did enjoy the video, smash the like button. It massively helps these out, and we're currently on the path to 1,500 subscribers. So if you could do me a favor, smash that subscribe button. Tell your parents, your family, your brother, sister, hell, tell your dog. I don't judge. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one.